Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Well, I'm in my grubbies today because I'm doing crappy work, grinding. Grinding's always a mess. I don't want to get my good clothes ruined, so we're going to just kind of go with the old stuff. But what I'm trying to do, working my way through sanding issues, Harbor Freight belts. Odd thing is, I have one that seems to be working pretty good. It's not wearing out. It's not breaking. Of course, that could be something that happens in the next 10 seconds, but you never know. This belt that I'm using right now is about a, 120 grit. Fairly fine. And I've run it very carefully. I've tried to it looks like it's more than 120. It must be a 180. Can't tell. Once it's run, you can't read the back of it anymore. The numbers are gone. Carefully ran it and broke it in. One of the things I did was I put it on backwards, inside out, so that the sanding grit was towards the drum. I just ran it for a couple of minutes and seems to be holding up pretty good. Now, I haven't been bearing down on it really hard, but it does seem to work. The other thing I'm going to try is, I'm doing this backwards. I'm taking the finest sander that I have, the smallest sander that I have, and trying to rough something down. So what I really should be doing is saying, okay, I'm going to smooth this up with a flap wheel. Yeah, Scout Crafter, the flap wheel. John knows what he's doing. You want to do the rough work. This doesn't need to be a ground. It needs to be cleaned up. So if I go over this with a flap wheel, I'll be able to make it a little smoother so that when I go after it with this, I won't be seeing the heavy pulls. And also won't be cutting through scale, it'll be cutting through steel. Steel's a lot better on the belt than the scale because the scale is very hard. I have the DeWalt grinder. Take off the cutting disc and the nut because I won't need it. This flap wheel has a thread in it. Now, this flap wheel came from Demmer Corporation. They went through flap wheels like grain through a goose. And as soon as they stopped cutting exactly perfect, they threw them. The guys just didn't want to mess with them because they were paid to do a job, not necessarily to save money by running the discs down slow. Okay. So, the other thing I need to do is turn this guard. Let's press down this flap wheel a little bit, see if I can get it cut faster. Well, that works okay. Let's try something else. This is a grinder that I picked up for a grand total of $19. Black & Decker Industrial. Got a paddle switch on it, which I kind of like. We'll give this one a shot with just a grinding wheel. So, this is actually the best way to go at this. Hit it with a grinding wheel, take out the pits. Still got just a few little pits there. I'll probably touch this up again. Hit this with a grinder just a little bit more. But take the pits out, then go after it with a flap wheel, then go after it with a finer flap wheel if I have one. This one's 24 grit. And then go after it with the fine belts. Makes better sense. Now, let's try it with a sanding belt. That was my mistake. I caught the edge. That's what happened just prior to the zirconia belt breaking. So maybe this one's not long for this world. Now, I've still got some marks in here from the grinder, I believe. So I could spend a lot of time trying to take those out with a little belt, or I could come back to the flat wheel. Well, this belt is holding up amazingly well. This belt is holding up amazingly well. And I don't know what the reason is, but I'm happy for the result. Is it because I ran it backwards? Possibly. Is it because the tape is not wearing through? Possibly also. While running it backwards, I ran it against this, which flattened that out a little bit and made it a little bit smoother. So it might just be that this is sliding over that rub rail a little easier. I'll let this cool down, then we'll go after it with the belt wheel and see what happens there. Well, I've learned some new things about the belt sander. I've also learned some new things that I thought I already knew, but what I knew was wrong. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching. This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the US or 16 in the European Union.
without the express written permission of the parents or legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.